Hi, today we will be discussing the Internet of Things, cloud computing, and open source. Now, just what are all of these things? The Internet of Things, the cloud, open source? Well, if I were my philosophy teacher from last semester, I would start by saying that each of these things is a metaphysical entity. Thankfully, however, I am not a philosophy teacher, and this is not a philosophy class. So let's get started. The Internet of Things. The Internet of Things is the connection of devices to the Internet through a network, whether that's something like 4G, LTE, or Wi-Fi. In the Internet of Things, data is sent and received between devices. This is all made possible thanks to IP addresses. IP addresses, with the IP standing for Internet Protocol, are basically a series of numbers that are addresses, like our house addresses, for devices, so that specific information can be sent and received to and from those intended devices. The idea of the Internet of Things is that eventually everything will be connected. This includes connecting something as simple as your toothbrush to your iPhone so that you know how long you've brushed your teeth. It's even estimated that by the year 2020, there will be 20 billion devices connected to the Internet. With the growth, however, comes the constant threat of security issues, as companies will have to develop more and more ways of storing an infinite amount of data on servers in such a sophisticated way as to prevent information from being hacked. The issue of security, however, brings me to my next topic of cloud computing. Before I can get too involved in the fears concerning the cloud, I first have to describe to you what the cloud is, and possibly one of the best ways to describe what it is to describe what it isn't. What the cloud is not is your physical computer. The cloud does not contain any part of your computer. These tangible parts of your computer are considered hardware. The screen, the mouse, the CPU are all examples of computer hardware. The CPU, or central processing unit in your computer, for example, is what holds most of the instructions for operating the computer. Additionally, memory such as random access memory, RAM, and read-only memory, ROM, contain important data, which is pertinent to a well-functioning computer. So now that we've sufficiently covered what the cloud is not, let's go ahead and discuss what the cloud actually is. Cloud computing is simply the act of storing information over the Internet via a server. For example, I used the cloud-based Google Docs to create this presentation. Google Drive is considered to be a public cloud as it is open to the public. It provides the consumer with the ability to create documents, spreadsheets, and presentations online from the very start. In any cloud program, the creation is always saved through the Internet to an off-site server. No information is ever saved to the computer itself. So now that I have explained to you a little bit about the cloud, specifically the public cloud, now it is my responsibility to inform you that there are also different types of clouds other than just the public cloud. But don't worry, it's not too complicated. The next type of cloud that I will be discussing is the private cloud. Unlike the public cloud, which is meant more for the average consumer, private clouds are more often used by businesses, as businesses can use their own provider to run and save their information specific to their company too. Finally, there is the hybrid cloud, which, as you may have guessed, is a combination of both public and private clouds. Through a hybrid cloud, a company can share its private cloud data and interconnect it with the public cloud. Now, as I said before, people do have some concerns as to the safety of the cloud. Many are concerned about what happens to their documents once they save them to the cloud. They worry about hackers and system failures causing them to lose all of their important documents. While companies will always be trying to prevent data hacks, information should be safe from system failures as companies have what is called redundancy. This means that things saved to the cloud are saved to more than one server, meaning that there is more than one backup of an individual's document. Despite these minor concerns, cloud computing is an efficient way to write and save creations and is expected to grow in the near future. So, just as the cloud is growing, so is open source. Open source is any software where the source code is made publicly and freely and allows others to alter and improve upon its original design. Open source programs foster collaboration among individuals as they improve codes, making programs more efficient and less error-prone. Through programs like Linux, developed by Linus Torvalds, which do not require permission from the original creator of the product to, use the source code, programs can be easily and quickly updated. Because of free source codes, providing innovative collaboration and modification, the technological world can quickly increase in growth with the implementation of all these source codes into new tech gadgets. So, just to review, the Internet of Things is the sharing and receiving of data over a network through devices. Computer hardware includes physical components of a computer, while a cloud computing deals with directly accessing, creating, and saving to the internet via an offsite server. Open source is the free software source codes that can easily be improved upon and used to create bigger and better technology in the world. So hopefully you've learned just a little bit more about the world of technology through this presentation and will implement some of this information into your daily life. Thanks for listening.